Hey everyone, let's go ahead and drive my 2024 Ford Mustang GT with a manual. Let's go ahead and start it up. And as we can see right here, we have some cool different exhaust modes to pick from for driving around. Let's go ahead and put down the windows and try out these different exhaust modes. So we do have quiet, nothing much there. Normal, definitely a little spice there. I'm not revving it too much because I'm in a parking garage area, so I don't want to piss anyone off. We do have also the sport mode, and then finally my favorite, track mode. We'll leave it in track mode for the remainder of this drive. And we'll go ahead and actually switch it to my custom mode. I'll kind of talk through that real quick. So in my custom mode, I have it set to the sport steering, which weighs it up just a little bit more. You can see it right here. And then that track exhaust right there. And then also this very nice track display, which shows the gear right there, right front and center, your different trip information right there, or what I typically go down to is these other gauges right here. And then it has a very nice big RPM gauge for you, so you can see that. And also I'm a sucker for seeing the actual specific RPMs right there as well. So we'll drive around in that mode. Let's go ahead and get started. We'll go low speed with the windows down and then roll those windows back up. Some nice gurgles and small pops from that exhaust. With it being the standard transmission, it also has quite a bit of engine braking, and I feel that versus my previous car that I traded this in on, which was also a 2024 Ford Mustang, but had the automatic, that I don't use my brakes near as much. This car also has automatic rev matching both up and down, which makes driving pretty easy. You can turn it off, of course, in the display here, but for the most part, I choose to just leave it on, as it definitely increases drivability. And we'll go ahead and put those windows up. So as a little backstory, this is my second 2024 Ford Mustang GT. I had previously a 300A kind of base model that had two options on it. It had the upgraded Premier Polish rims coming in at 19 inches. And then it had the automatic transmission. My biggest reason for upgrading and getting a different 2024 Ford Mustang GT was simply the seat comfort. This is a 301A package, which gives me the power driver's seat with the lumbar support, which was really kind of the main thing that I was looking for. It also gives you consequently heated seats, and then the dual zone climate, which is also really nice when me and my fiance go on trips. She's pretty cold, I'm pretty hot, so kind of having that nice balance where we can each define what our temperature is quite nice. Additionally, on this 301A, it's in the Oxford white exterior with the Nite Pony Package. You can kind of see it on this mirror right here, where that just kind of blacks out the emblems, badges, the roof, the mirror. I think that's about it. Oh, also the headlight bezels. And then additionally, I got this exhaust mode that I've kind of already talked about. With that active exhaust, you then get those different exhaust modes. Now, the main things that I've realized with this 301A versus my other one is I do really enjoy driving stick shift. This specific manual does not have the greatest, overall is just fine, I guess. There's nothing that I would say is terrible about it. Throws are about medium, engage pretty nicely. You definitely know that you're in gear and the right gear. It's pretty notchy from that perspective. And then the clutch feel is fine. There's a decent amount of overall just vibration, I guess I would say, which either you love it or you hate it. It makes you feel more, like it feels less synthetic. So you listen to that sweet V8 for a second. It feels less synthetic, but it does feel a little more kind of buzzy and a little, I guess cheap isn't the right term. But yeah, overall transmission, clutch, engagement is pretty easy. It's very easy to drive. It has all the latest assistance features. Like I said, the rev matching. It also kind of gives it some gas, even if you're just in gear and you start to let off the clutch, it'll go ahead and just try and assist you with that as well. And not sure if it has the auto turn back on if you somehow stall it. I've never actually stalled the car. It also has the kind of like hill hold with just auto hold, which is the pretty basic feature of it. So overall, it's a pretty easy experience to drive. Its biggest downfall, of course, is a lot of traffic, which here in the Seattle area, we get quite a bit of. So that's kind of the one downside of it. But in terms of ripping around on back roads or kind of like right now at early time, so 6 o'clock, you don't have near as much people out on the road, and so it's a lot more fun in those scenarios. Some interesting quirks with this car specifically, it does have a very kind of obnoxious rattling noise, and I can get it to go in a lot of different things. I've looked up the whole Coyote 2000 RPM rattle, and it is probably most prevalent at that RPM range, especially when it is cold, under light throttle. I've noticed is kind of one of the biggest characteristics for defining if that's going to be a thing or not. I am planning on taking that into the dealer, of course, and having them troubleshoot and seeing if anything is actually wrong with it. From what I've heard with the whole Coyote rattle and of course the barbecue tick, there's not really a fix, and you can add Ceratec and a couple other things to try and help keep that noise down. So I'll try that in the future, but I have not tried that just yet, so I can't really speak to that just yet. We still have, as most S650s report, quite a bit of road noise in these non-premium models, as well as quite a bit of rattles. Not sure if it's picking it up on the audio. I do plan on upgrading my mic for the record, but right now I'm just using the standard GoPro mic. But it does have quite a bit of noise, rattles, kind of squeaks, and they're definitely kind of annoying, and don't lend the car a premium feel from that perspective. At the end of the day, when you realize it's not really about that, it's about having that V8 power and having that fun experience, then you can kind of get past it. But you do spend quite a bit of money on these cars, so that is something else that you should keep in mind. Another big reason why I switched to this car specifically was it had been sitting on a lot for a decent amount of time. Guessing not a ton of people in the Seattle area, judging by their driving characteristics, I'm guessing most of them cannot drive a manual transmission. So this one had sat on a lot for a decent amount of time and was marked down pretty significantly. The sticker on this one was about $49,000. With it being an earlier build, it also got slapped with that $1,000 gas guzzler tax, which is included in that price. But like if you spec out another one today, it will be maybe slightly more with some of the recent upgrades, but not dramatically, because it lost that $1,000 tax credit. But with that being said, for this one, it was marked down about $6,000, plus I got a college credit, the $750 college credit. So it definitely was worth it to me to upgrade to this. They also gave me about $500 less on my 2024 Mustang than what I had paid for it originally. So I recouped, you know, the majority of my money. I can't complain about getting 96% of it back. That's definitely a great return on investment for owning a car for 3,000 miles and 3 months. So the upgrade was a pretty easy choice in my opinion. Some of the other things that I've really enjoyed about this specific one is with the 9-speaker audio system. The audio is definitely much improved versus the previous one that I owned, that 300A. Short shift in here a little bit, just to not be too loud in this small town that I'm in. But overall, as with my previous one, steering is good. It's a little dead, but it's overall good. Throttle modulation is pretty good as well. And then you also have the brakes, which are strong even in the non-Brembo brakes. With the base one, I did not get the upgraded Brembo brakes. I believe the front are still Brembos, but still brakes very well. Another slightly strange issue that I've noticed with this specific 2024 is the turn signal stalk, I believe, needs replaced. There's kind of it just feels off compared to my previous one, which felt completely normal. This one just has a weird sound to it when it kind of clicks on and clicks off, like it's catching or something's a little messed up. So that's another thing I'm going to be looking into getting replaced. With this one, my previous one had a really bad sunglass holder. This one's not perfect, but it gets the job done and is much better and more of a normal level of quality. Another thing with my previous one that I had noticed was it would fog up really bad on the interior. Not sure if there was a slight leak or something like that causing that. But so far, this one has not had that same problem. Let's go ahead, hop on the highway for a quick, I don't know, second gear pull. There's quite a few people here, so might not be able to do that. I'll have some more content out in the next couple of weeks here, going over driving this on some nice back roads, mountain roads, as well as some other things such as maybe driving it a little bit more at its limit. I do want to do the initial oil change in it before I'm getting on it too hard. So stay tuned for those videos. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day.